Welcome to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. I'm your host, Phil Taylor Jones. Thank you for joining us. Today, I know it's a little bit late, but I have other things to do, as all of you do, and I'm just now getting around to taking on the first Republican debate of the presidential candidates. First of all, let me just say that, I was surprised that Fox even wanted to take on this project because they're so slanted towards the Democrats that they would even want to do this. And then when I did actually look at the debate and hear these three moderators, these two picklehead guys and this bimbo or bimbette, I can understand why they wanted to do it, because I guess they wanted to, take personal digs at the re-slugs, and that they did with Mr. Trump being at the forefront. But before I even get into that, I would just like to say, I found it interesting. No, let me backtrack. I found it disgusting that these debates were not on at least public television, if not the regular networks like 2, 4, and 7. You see, this is a time where the American people are information building, their character building of these candidates. Not really paying attention to what's in the news, or what these slanted news whores may be thinking of a certain candidate, or their spin on it, their conjuncture, their rhetoric, their spinning. We're not really interested in that. We're interested in seeing these candidates for who they are, what comes out of their mouths actually in real time. That's what we're looking for. I know that's what I'm looking for. I want to see what their temperament is. I want to see what their stick-to-itiveness is. I want to see their devotion, their dedication. This is how we gauge it, by seeing these debates on telly. So why then would you have them on a pay-per-view or on a subscription basis? Put this stuff on regular television so that the American people can make their assessments, so that the American people can do their homework, so that the American people can see these people for who they are, what they say, and when they say it. That's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. I mean, what time do we stop being greedy in this country at money and put the actual pudding on the table for people to taste, so to speak, not waiting to go to the store and buy it? So I found that very disgusting, and I think my brother wanted to weigh in on here.
Yeah, the fact that we had to find it on a website, on Fox News' website, and stream it from there is ridiculous. It should have been on TV.
This is true.
Like you were saying.
This is true. So now let's get into the actual
Missed
debate.
half of it because of that.
Oh, yeah, let's get into the actual debate. I looked at the various candidates, and to me, they're talking about who won, who lost, who was brilliant, who was dazzling. I didn't see anything all that dazzling. I mean, if I had to base my decision on what I saw and then go to the ballot box and cast a vote, I would be very hard pressed. Now, I can understand that they're just coming out of the box. This was their first debate, and they got to feel their way around as to what they're comfortable with, and all of this kind of thing. 17 candidates, 10 were actually in the prime time, 7 were a little before time because they couldn't have all of them on the stage. And if you remember, they were always dinging the bell because they're trying to split all this time between 10 people. It was more of a witch hunt in my estimation. They were asking really crummy questions of the candidates, with Mr. Trump being the most worst asked of questions. So the other ones were, the other 9 were there trying to, I guess state their positions and what have you. And Donald Trump was there trying to defend himself against idiotic questions that really didn't have anything to do with being president. They were digging up crap on the guy from what he said, 5-6 years ago. They're constantly trying to lambaste the guy because he was at one point a Democrat, and he did in fact support Hillary and Bill, at one time. That's irrelevant. We used to be 2 years old, but then we grew up. So, it's not what was, it's what is and what will be, because that's what's going to determine whether or not we have a country brought back from the brink of disaster, or whether we're going to go down the tubes and go down like the lost city of Atlantis. What he said about some of these women that he feels are substandard, well, some of them are. That's no big, major deduction. Some of them are slimy and sick looking and pitiful. Some of them are beautiful and lovely and womanly and what have you, feminine, it's some men are slobs and pigs and horrible looking. And then some guys are handsome and, manly and what have you, what guys are. So, they're picking apart and dissecting every little thing the guy says. And that just shows the stupidity of the news whores and what they're all about. As I said before, we are building, we are homeworking, we are checking every candidate for his or her stick-to-itiveness, whether or not they're going to be flip-flopping all over the place like Miss Hillary. She's the queen of flip-flop, So, there's a lot of things that come to mind when I see these debates or hear of them. From your first debate to the last debate, where the real front runners are there, and it's going to be the Republicans against the Democrats, and they're battling it out on stage. I want to be there from the beginning to the end. Are you going to maintain your position? They had something against Marco Rubio, where he had supposedly said in some earlier conference or press conference or whatever about, are you really going to be there to destroy babies just because they were conceived in violence? And no, I never said that. He probably did say it. They're flip-flopping. They're always bouncing back and forth, and they're this way one minute and they're that way the other. And that's something that to me does not denote a good president. If you say, I'm going to take 3 steps forward and turn to the left, then you take 3 steps and turn to the left. You stick to that, no matter what. Research what you say before you say it so that you don't have to flip-flop and backtrack. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's not going to be like, oh, bastard, and get in there and say one thing and do 15 other different things that's going to hurt the country. Like his Iran deal, which is rotten as a 15-day-old chicken, raw chicken out in the sun. You wouldn't want to eat that. This TTP or TPP or whatever the heck it is, that's a rotten bunch of crap. It seems like this guy is hell-bent on destroying this country before he leaves office, with every twist and turn. I've said this before on many other shows, and I'm sticking to that. I'm not flip-flopping. He's trying to destroy this place before he leaves, to just show you that he's living up to his name. Oh, bastard. He's bastard. So, with these new candidates here, we want to try our level best to make sure that we're not picking some idiot like, oh, bastard, okay? So this is why it's necessary to have these debates, and I don't care how minute the news whores may think they are, to us American voters, I think it's crucial that we see them from their infantile days right on up to when they're old and gray walking on a stick. We need to see these debates so that we can gauge these candidates for ourselves by what we see coming out of their mouths in real time, not from what's posted 2 days later or a day later on these pitiful websites, on the newspapers, because we know we can't really trust the news whores, because they're just that. They're there to spin it their way and, try to make you believe something you don't want to believe. So, they're a bunch of dirtbags, we know that. As far as certain things that are flying around the realm now, let's take abortion. I have always believed that abortion was wrong. Well, what about a woman's right to choose? It is my position that a woman has a right to choose to keep her legs together. A gentleman has a right to choose to keep it in his pants. Abortion is not a contraceptive, and it's been used far too much in this country. I agree with Donald Trump and anybody else who says that we're sick of a country hell-bent on political correctness. Screw that. That's a bunch of crap. Say what you mean what you say. I say that abortion is wrong. If you kill the baby when the baby is in the womb, it's abortion. These same mothers, if they kill the baby one day after she shoots it out, it's murder. Stop playing semantics. Murder is murder. When the little baby is there, it's a fetus, and it's breathing, and its blood is flowing through its little tiny veins, it's alive. It is a baby, and if you terminate that life, you have killed it. A woman's right to choose. She should choose not to bring forth a life. If you bring forth that life, keep it. And if you don't want it, then there are lots of loving parents out there that would be happy to have a little baby. You don't have to kill it. Now, pro-life. I am a strong believer in no abortion unless the mother's life is in danger, she has been raped, or it's a child or a product of incest. You know that if you go to bed with your brother, or your mother, or your sister, or your cousin, or whatever, that's too many of the same genes hooked up in the same person, and that person isn't going to come out right. So why would you want to bring forth, something like that into the world? And to this stupid bimbette who questioned Rubio on that, why would you want to terminate an innocent baby, even though it was a baby that was brought forth by violence or through violence? I have this to say. The woman was brutally raped. She's got to carry that baby, that product of violence, for 9 months. What about the baby's going to come out messed up anyway, because the woman is stressed out, thinking she's carrying a demon seed, if you will. Why would you want to subject a woman to that? And this woman supposedly would bring up a question like that to try to, mess with Rubio. If she's feeling all this womanly togetherness, for her sisters, and what is this new thing they got? Hatred against women, and you're trying to
war on women.
War on women, yeah, your war on women. Why would she want to inflict that war on a fellow woman to carry around a demon seed that she, has been raped and forced to do that for 9 months? Come on.
And another thing too, that baby that's going to come out is going to have them same genes to possibly later on in life rape someone else.
You're correct. If this person is whacked out, and what's to say the kid may not be whacked out? So I mean, come on, if you're gonna be for something, be for that. Choose something you stand for, and then stand up for it. I mean, come on. Now this thing about lost my train of thought there for a minute. I know the abortion thing is floating around. Maybe it'll come to me. Hey, I was just thinking about something old bastard did. I'm kind of leaving the road here a little bit, but I got to throw this in. You remember a few weeks ago when he was the first sitting president to visit a prison, a minimum security prison at that? Why didn't they take his scroungy butt into a maximum security prison? Maybe they would have kept him. Anyway, he's, just chomping at the bit, beating on the tom-toms to free prisoners and give them pardons and all this kind of crap. And we're talking about drug dealers, drug pushers, who have possibly killed innocent children and other people pushing that junk and all this kind of thing. All these, really kind of heinous things that he's, well, let's give them a party because they were young like you and me once. And, what a deadhead. Now, he's willing to do that for these types of criminals, but Edward Snowden, who in my opinion is a hero, is stuck over there miles and miles and miles away from his family and his loved ones because he blew the whistle on crooked practices. Why can't he have a pardon and come back home to his family? You see what a twisted bag of crap old bastard really is? And this, folks, is one of the reasons why we must be diligent and do our homework to the best of our abilities so that we don't make such an awful, dreadful mistake again. So this is why the news whores and mongrels and moguls need to stop thinking about their damn fat wallets and put these programs, if nothing more than on PBS, so that we can see them on the evening news, the news hour, wonderful program with Julie Woodruff, I think her name is, and Gwen Eiffel. Put it on there so that we can at least see it. We shouldn't have to go run around trying to scrounge around on a computer or on some funky internet to see these vital programs that are going to impact our lives. Everybody doesn't have a computer. Everybody doesn't have internet. Hell, some people don't even like cyber things. They can't care for them. But most everyone has a telly. So put it on so that it can be accessible to everyone. I bet they would have done it if it had been the Democrats. Now we're going to see what happens when their time comes around in October, when slippery Hillary Clinton is taking, the reins, and they'll probably have it on everything, regular television, public television, cable. Hell, they may even display it on buildings and what have you when she's there. Come on. I read something the other day where the FBI is going to start talking to her and questioning her about some
she's cooperating with
illegal internet or something. She's cooperating. This cow shouldn't even be able to run for president, being embroiled in such scandal, both old, new, and future. She's a crook, a bloody crook, and she's running for president. And some people out there would actually vote for her and chomp at the bit and beat on the tom-toms to get her in office. Come on, people. Let's think about this thing. We've just been through 8 years of Obastard. Do you really want to turn around and put something just as bad or even worse in there? $20 trillion in debt. Jobs, almost non-existent. We're not producing much of anything. We're being taxed to high hell and laboring hard and bringing forth a cow. Come on, if a lot of people don't like Trump, then there are a lot of people that do like him. But the guy, however you may feel, he speaks true. We're losing on so many levels. When is the last time you picked up anything of great meaning and it was made in the United States? You might pick up a grocery bag or some ointment or something and it'll say made in the United States. But I'm talking about real big ticket stuff. The telly that you're probably watching me on right now, or the computer that you're watching me on, or the tablet or the telephone that you're watching me on. Where was it made? It was either made in China or Iraq. Republic of China. Okay? Even big bad Japan. They've lost their footing. Things that were, made in Japan are not made in China. It's ridiculous. We've got these foreigners crawling over the border through Mexico. And it's just totally messed up this country. And that's why, that's the only thing I don't like about Trump. in my opinion, he's made a major faux pas there. And that's why I'm looking at him with somewhat jaded eyes. I still like him, he's very outspoken and he hits the nail on the head a lot of times. But with this immigration crap, he has really kind of turned my stomach with that. In fact, he was noted as saying he's going to build that wall, but he's not against having a big door in it to allow people to come into the country legally. We don't need any more people to come here, period. I've said that on other shows, and I will stick to that until I'm no longer able to do any shows. We have enough people in this country to deal with right now until we get our country back on our feet, on its feet, which may take about 40, 50, 60 years. And that's how long the door should remain closed to those people, those foreigners that are over here and in the process of becoming citizens. That means taking the courses, doing the coursework, doing the methodology, and all the things that they need to do to get themselves into being citizens. Yes, good on them, let them go. They've already been here and they're in the process. But those who have no right to be here, leave them out, send them back. I don't care where they come from. They can come from Alpha Centauri, as far as I'm concerned. If they don't belong here, send them back. Look at what's going on over in France. These Africans floating across the treacherous waters, boats flipping over, killing them all. They're using up all the water they have. Some of them are floating in, and half of them are dead because they're using the drinking water to put out the fires on the engines so that they, can make it. All of this to go into somebody else's country and screw it up because theirs ain't running right. No. And then they sent a ship out, or several ships, a flotilla, to rescue them. And to what? Not send them back to where they come from. They brought them over there. And now they're scratching their butts in their heads saying, what do we do with all these people? What'll I do? You should have took your boats out there and floated them back to their own damn country and let them off. See, this crap is going on all over the world because a lot of these countries are following our leader. It's ridiculous. If you can't make it in your own country, then what gives you the right to go into somebody else's and screw it up? And these leaders are nuts. They're nuts for allowing this to happen. I wouldn't if I was the leader. To get out, go somewhere else. You're not welcome here. We got enough people to contend with. So on that score, Mr. Trump, you and I don't see eye to eye. I would say, yeah, build that damn wall with no door. We have enough people over here. I was looking at a homeless documentary last evening, actually. And it's horrible how many homeless people we have on the streets. How many veterans that we're supposed to hold so dear are out on the streets while you sit there and try to make up for foreigners that shouldn't even be here? These vets have gone to war to support our freedom, to fight for our freedom. You sit up there and you say, well, freedom isn't free. Somebody has to fight for it. Somebody did fight for it and they came back and they're living on the streets? That's a travesty. While you beat on the tom-toms for some foreigners that don't belong here. So, Donald, I hope you change your position on that. And then you'll be, 100% with me, pal. But yeah, forget that door. You don't need a door, you just need the wall. And we got enough people over here. We got enough foreigners over here. As I said in many other shows, we have been too kind. We have bent over backwards until every vertebrae in our spinal column has been compromised. We've got enough foreigners over here. We don't need any more. Another thing, I just want to take a little short detour because we didn't do a show when that happened. But Cecil, the lion. However you may feel about that, I feel strongly about any animal. And the poor lion had a family, and now he's gone. And his family is suffering for it. And you might say, well, Phil, why are you, talking about this lion? I mean, come on. I'm talking about it in this way. Everybody was chomping at the bit about getting this creepy doctor who paid the $50,000 to go over and hunt the lion. They want him to be extradited back to Africa for prosecution, for justice. And I have no problem with that. They should take his butt back over there and nail his butt to the cross. I'd love to see it go down in flames. Let people do to him what he did to the poor lion, because he knows he's a lion dirtbag, because he lured the lion out from his protected place and then he killed him. So you know that he had ill, intentions. And he's been brought up on other scandalous activities regarding the hunting of animals. But if you're gonna, crucify this guy, then the African nation that or nations that allowed this kind of crap to happen because they're so financially strapped, they're looking for ways to make money. Well, that's a jackass way to make money, by killing up all the animals to virtual extinction. What are you thinking? Can't you find some other way to make money to support your country other than killing up the poor innocent animals? This is lunacy. I seem to remember another incident where people from America went over there looking for slaves, and they talked to the head chieftains and the head folks over there, and they gathered up a lot of the native sons and daughters and paraded them into ships in chains, 6 and 7 people deep, living in feces and urine, and feeding them half-rotten food, and then brought them to America and treated them no better. Africa needs to clean up its act. Yeah, it's about the doctor killing the poor lion, but these bastards are the cause of doctors and other people going over paying $50,000, $100,000, as low as $1,400 for zebras and what have you, to allow these beautiful, magnificent animals to be killed for no reason other than, we need some revenue in our country. Please. It's ridiculous. Which is another reason I'm chomping at the bit and I'm beating on the tom-toms, about we need to have these presidential candidates on TV every time they debate, so that we can make an informed decision based on things that we actually hear with our own ears coming out of their mouths. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I know I haven't said this in a while, but if you like what we're doing here, circle us on Google. Don't do the Facebook thing that much, but if you want to drop in there and be a friend or what have you, you can do that. We really appreciate your support, and we thank you for it. In this crazy world we live in, Lord knows it's nuts as a 10-pound fruitcake. And for those of you who ate fruitcake out there. But try to remain happy as you can, and in this presidential election time, please do the homework, because we don't want to make another mistake like we did with old bastard. We can't afford it, literally. So stay happy. I'm recording the show on the weekend, so if you happen to see it this weekend, have a great one. If not, if you see it sometime later in the week, hope you're having a good week. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time right here on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Bye-bye.